How you doing? I am having one of those days. Let me start. Eli, you got the button there. Welcome back. Oh my God, so before the Good Day Room, I had to reset my entire internet, the Wi-Fi, the routers upstairs, and then I had to run back downstairs, reset the other routers, start that room, got into that room, and then realized I couldn't, for some reason, the feed going back to you, because everybody, if you want to watch this, we are also doing this as a live video stream, and you can go to musicindustrycity.com, and when you go there, you'll see there's live videos appear here, and you'll be able to actually see what we're doing behind the scenes. And with that being said, we're going to go into the countdown after some technical issues. How you doing? Welcome to the Music News Power Hour here on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. And today we are going to talk about Grammys. Introduce more changes. The shuttered venue grants finally are on their way. I have a bunch of live music updates. Viagogo to play a vital role moving forward. And Cox Communications says, we're going to appeal that $1 billion ruling. Plus, your daily Spotify update. So let's get to it and welcome my co-host, Eli Window, who is back from a brief vacation, and Angela Randall. How you doing?
It's great to be back. I was having some Music News Power Hour withdrawal. How's everybody? Angela, it's good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. I've stepped up my weather pun game, Eli. So I don't mean to set the bar high, but trust me, it was really difficult walking in your shoes the last few days. So I'm glad you're back.
Well, I can't wait to go and check the streams and listen and get some inspiration. I'll tell you what, because it's always good to hear what someone else's take is on the weather. But that having been said, let's go ahead and get started. Today is May 27th, 2021. Let's look at on this day in history. Getting started, we remember Greg Allman, who passed away on this day, 2017. Greg Allman, founding member of the Allman Brothers Band, died at the age of 69 at his home in Savannah, Georgia. Allman had suffered a recurrence of liver cancer 5 years ago and died from complications of the disease in memory. Birthdays today, born May 27th, 1957, Susan Janet Valiant, Susie Seuss. She's the vocals for Susie and the Banshees. Born this day, 1966, also, Sean Kinney, American musician best known for being the drummer and co-founder of the rock band Alice in Chains. Born this day, 1971, Lisa Lopez, Left Eye, singer with American girl group TLC. Of course, we remember Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. And also born this day, 1975, Andre Benjamin, American rapper, singer, songwriter, who with Outkast had the 2001 US #1 and UK #2 single, Ms. Jackson, born this day. Moving on, this day in history, May 27th, 2007, Saatchi and Saatchi were fired by Dr. Martens for running an advertising campaign featuring dead rock stars such as Kurt Cobain and Sid Vicious wearing the brand's boots in heaven. David Suddens, the chief executive of Dr. Martens' parent company Airwear, said the brand had not commissioned the series of 4 print ads. Dr. Martens are very sorry for any offense that had been caused by the publication of images showing dead rock icons wearing Dr. Martens' boots, said a statement issued. On this day, 2008, UK high street chain Woolworths announced it would stop selling CD singles in its stores, saying that the format was in, quote, terminal decline, and would be removed from the shelves from August. Sales of CD singles had fallen sharply as the popularity of downloading music from the internet had increased at the time. And on this day, May 27th, 2010, dozens of AC/DC fans needed treatment after complaining of burning eyes during a concert on the runway of Wels Airport, Wels, Austria. Around 150 fans had to be treated. Doctors found that the fans showed allergic reactions to bark mulch spread at the venue, the runway of Wells Airport, to avoid the soil getting too muddy after hours of massive rainfall. So it sounds like maybe they avoided a Woodstock situation and created some sort of mulch allergy biohazard. What a way to go.
Fix one, create something, another problem. Hey, I have a question. I never really looked into what the meaning of don't go chasing waterfalls because, here's the thing. When I go hiking, that's the goal. Like, where's the waterfall? We want to hike to the waterfall. We want to find the waterfall. Maybe I have to look into like Rap Genius or, something of like songmeetings.com.
I think it's deeper. It cuts a little deeper than hiking, but I'm not sure. I'll have to re-listen. It's been a long time since I've heard that. We'll have to get my my TLC on later today.
Right on. All right, fantastic. And with that being said, welcome everybody, and welcome to the people tuning in on the live stream. And if you want to see what's going on in the live stream, just head over to musicindustrycity.com, and you'll see there's a button that's like, hey, the live streams go here. So this is where we scour the World Wide Web for music business news that we think should be opened for discussion. We're going to start the reads very shortly. And but first I want to welcome everybody that's new from Android to the Clubhouse platform. How you doing? Welcome. And make sure to follow people and also ping people in. Like if especially if you also know some people that are new, they might not be following. Like so many people here, we've been following each other for months, and what feels like years. So they know all the rooms and everything. So please feel free to, if you have some friends, colleagues that like, hey, they might be great to like contribute something into the newsroom, something to talk about, or feel that they would get something out of this, please feel free to hit that plus button on the bottom right there and invite them in. So how this works is we read key sections of articles for the first 20 to 30 minutes and then open the stage for a discussion for the remainder of the hour. Feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to come on stage and offer your thoughts during the roundtable. And with that being said, let's get to it. So we're going to kick off with this from NME.com. And if you want to follow all the articles that we cover, you can find them in our show notes, where you can go to musicindustrycity.com. And when you get to musicindustrycity.com, click on the graphic that says show notes. And that will take you to all the articles that we cover throughout the week, that leading up to tomorrow's weekend review. So everybody gets to jump on stage, to offer up their thoughts, the water cooler talk, and talk about what they've seen and heard in the news. And it's a great time. So it's a big party. We all get to kind of some discourse, some debate, having a good time. So you can follow along at home at musicindustrycity.com. With that being said, this one starts off. Grammys announced further rule changes for 2022. The Recording Academy announced the latest set of updates to their rules and guidelines for the Grammy Awards, which will come into force next year. These changes follow from the announcement in April that the organization would be scrapping its nomination review committee, which had attracted ample controversy in recent years. The latest Grammys rules changes particularly concern the Album of the Year category, which this year was won by Taylor Swift for her record Folklore. From 2022, any producer, songwriter, engineer, or featured artist on an album nominated for Album of the Year will also earn a nomination, even if they had only worked on one song on the album in question. Previously, nominations were only awarded to personnel who were credited on the 33% or more of an album's playing time. The rules for the album eligibility have also changed, meaning that an album put forward for nomination must be comprised of at least 75% of newly recorded music. Other notable changes for future Grammy ceremonies include a new rule which prohibits Academy members and their publicists from lobbying for any records except their own, as well as the renaming of the Best Dance Record category. It'll now be known as Dance Electronic Recording. You can also read all the latest rule changes that the Grammys will be implementing from the link that is in this article, which you can get the link to this article at musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes. All right. This has been going on for a while. We talked about it yesterday, and then late yesterday, there was an update, and this is from Billboard.com. Shuttered venue grants are finally on the way, says the SBA. The shuttered venue operating grant awards have started to roll out to live entertainment businesses struggling amid coronavirus restrictions, according to the Small Business Association Administrator Isabel Guzman, who testified before the House Small Business Committee on Wednesday, May 26th. Marking her first 100 days in the role, Guzman said the SBA is continuing to roll out awards for the Priority 1 group of SVOG recipients who lost 90% or more of their revenue from April to December 2020. After Congress and then President Trump approved the $15 billion for the SVOG program in December, payouts have been delayed as the SBA first worked months to build the infrastructure to receive applications and award payments, and then a launch on April 8th failed when was postponed until April 26th. Since then, venues were waiting until this week to start receiving funds. On May 24th, the SBA told Billboard Priority 1 venues would receive their grants by the end of the month. The quote starts, "We started awarding our SVOG grants funds this week, and we hope to continue to help our nation's venues hold on until they can bring back the performances and experiences that are the lifeblood of the American culture," said Guzman in her opening statement to the committee. A representative for the SBA confirmed that the administration had begun sending notices of awards to approved applicants of the SVOG program as of Wednesday. The federal government's grant process includes sending a notice of award to recipients who will then need to accept the grant. By signing the grant agreement, those entities can receive funds and are obligated to carry out the full terms and conditions of the grants. According to Guzman, the SBA received more than 13,000 applications for the grant, totaling approximately $11 billion in requested funds. Those 13,000 applicants compile all three priority groups. Priority 1, who lost 90% or more of revenue in 2020. Priority 2, who lost 70% or more. Priority 3, who lost 25% or more. With only $11 billion in requested funds, that leaves roughly $4 billion for supplemental grants for independent venues, promoters, talent agencies, and other cultural institutions. All right, so as of the publication, the National Independent Venue Association says none of its members have received funds from the SBA. And while we are talking about...
Big sigh.
It's one of those, like, can't come fast enough. And then it's, you're going to get the email. So everybody monitor their email, check their spam folders because they have to accept the grant. So make sure if you did apply, if you know anybody that did apply, tell them to keep that spam folder open. All right, this is from Hypebot. Bands in town data shows in-person concerts returning much faster than predicted. Data from Bands in Town, 62 million registered users and 550,000 artists reveal a robust and surprisingly fast return of in-person concerts. The number of live concerts announced to happen as early as the weekend is exploding as concerns over fan and artist hesitancy, as well as the time needed to launch a new pre-tour unfounded. 222,170 upcoming events are now listed on Bands in Towns versus 87,000 at the start of 2021. Surprisingly, 78% of those upcoming events are happening before the end of this year. Bands in Town data also shows that 2022 is likely to see twice as many artists on stage than before the pandemic. Concert behemoth Live Nation recently shared that it has already booked twice as many concerts for 2022 as it did in all of 2019. Australia, New Zealand, and U.S. are leading the global live band music recovery. So they say fans are responsible to the rush of new concert announced by pulling out their credit cards. There's a nice graph in here. Nice might not be the necessary word, but they talk about, the fan clicks to buy tickets. They showed the graph from January to recent number of fans purchasing tickets is on track to surpass pre-pandemic levels by the end of June. Fans in Town managing partner Fabrice Sergent says, during May, we saw between 250,000 and 550,000 fans per day clicking to buy tickets. We can now predict that the number of fans purchasing tickets is on track to surpass pre-pandemic levels by the end of June. In the last 28 days, 601,048 new live music fans organically joined Bands in Town to be alerted when their favorite artists announce their tour. When tens of thousands of live performances were canceled in March, Bands in Town expanded, also becoming a global leader in live streaming discovery, and census helped more than 23,000 artists market more than 86,500 live streams at no cost. This is great to see. Just one takeaway looking at these numbers is, well, yeah, there is going to be a giant spike in a hockey stick curve because there haven't been shows.
It's not hard to see the numbers skyrocket when you started with zero, right?
Right. But here's the thing. They're talking about that more performances. There'll be more artists on stage by the end of this year. I have to question that because there's only so much, there's only so many stages and only so many slots that are going to, like, you can't double unless everybody's going to be playing 15-minute sets at like at the Lower East Side venues. It's like, all right, no, you're set. You got 3 songs and you're off. I mean, how do you fit that in?
Right. And you know what? I wanted to share something. I heard a young artist say that they figured they were going to clean house. They were going to go start looking for gigs because all these venues that have been closed have no idea where to even start looking for new bands because maybe the bands aren't around. And I just want to remind everybody that venues are holding so many rollover dates from 2020. If there was any show in 2020 that you wanted to see, it's probably been rolled over to whenever that venue is open at capacity now. So keep your eye on your favorite shows from 2020. They may still be coming up here in 2021. They may be rolled over. And that's, I'm sure, a lot of the shows that we're seeing discussed in this article are rollover shows, rollover hold dates from 2020. And these bands have been waiting. They've been in the wings, if you'll pardon the puns.
Yeah, a lot of, you hear like the agents joke was like, oh yeah, I'm on 17th hold for October of 2021, and that was in August of 2020. So
that's been my whole life. Yeah, that's my entire life. That's my entire email inbox.
It does sort of beg the question, though, and just to bring this up, I mean, with the U.S. being that it's all one country, and hopefully there will be similar rules. In our case over here, a lot of people are considering going abroad to see shows as they do regularly, because if it's a 2-hour flight, in some cases, it makes more sense to go to another country. But with some of the European countries falling behind with their vaccinations, if we're opening up here in the UK, for example, now, if you wanted to try to go to France before the end of the summer, you've got to quarantine in your hotel room in France for 10 days. So potentially, if they are going to be holding these events, the bands that are going to be playing can't necessarily get to them. Will they hold up an event like a festival, for example, if a French band has got to come and most of their audience would be coming from another country and have to quarantine for 2 weeks? I mean, that could be problematic. So I think we are going to see, as soon as we get more detailed information about reopening, we are going to see some kind of reshuffle, because eventually either the bills are going to go forward having to replace acts who can't get here, whose fan bases can't get here, or vice versa. So keep an eye on this side of the pond, because it might be very interesting what happens next.
I love it. That's Angela Randall, our UK correspondent, keeping us posted from across the pond. Thanks, Angela. And I'm definitely going to keep that in mind, because I can fly direct to Heathrow from my local airport.
Yeah, and interesting. I mean, are we looking at Europe becoming more localized or more national? When they start rolling these out, it's like it's not going to be as international. It's going to be more, you're kind of in the walled garden in a sense.
If you look at the Reading and Leeds lineup, which is at the end of August, and then planning for everything to go as planned to open up for the 21st of June, Reading and Leeds is a prime example of that. Almost everybody on the bill is British or local, so it's looking like they're doing things homegrown as soon as the end of the summer. But beyond that, who knows?
It's like 2016 never happened.
Woo!
I don't know what you're talking about.
On that note, I'm actually in the queue right now to purchase concert tickets on Ticketmaster.
And I wanted to say, too, that the Telluride Jazz Festival tickets go on sale today. Telluride Jazz Festival tickets available today. The Telluride Jazz Festival will go forward. And it's amazing to see a lot of these events come around and start to recover. I know a lot of us in here are really interested in what's happening in the live sector. And for me, I really just love seeing the ship coming back to rights again and sailing on. Yes, let's have this.
Yeah, I think this next article will tie in nicely with what's going on in Europe. And this one is from Mixmag. And they're saying that the Spanish minister says Ibiza could be added to UK green travel list on June 7th. So, and they're saying the list will be reviewed again on June 7th. So Brits may be able to head to Ibiza, or as they like to say, Ibiza, in the coming weeks, as Spain is expected to be added to the bill of approved countries on the green list. According to the Spanish tourism minister, The country may move off the UK's amber list in the coming weeks, denying it's fit for the harsher restrictions. As it stands, those traveling to Spain from the UK must quarantine for 10 days upon return, as Angela just mentioned. Tourists also currently need to book 2 PCR COVID tests on their return, costing around £120. Those traveling to green list countries do not need to quarantine when they arrive back in the UK. Fernando Valdez told Sky News, quote, Spain is doing a great effort, not only in terms of vaccination, but we also have at least 1/3 of our whole population with at least 1 dose. But also we have some holiday destinations which are very loved by British tourists, such as the Balearic Islands, Costa Blanca, and more, with notification rates which are pretty low and by the same notification range of the UK. With Ibiza's 2021 season just around the corner, the minister is now discussing plans with the UK government on the next steps to reopening travel. Despite the countries being on the amber list, the Sun estimated that around 100,000 Brits would head to Spain this week following the relaxation of travel restrictions on May 17th. The UK government will address updates to the traffic light system and newly appointed countries on June 7th.
And all right, checking flights to Spain.
Yes.
I will be in Spain the entire month of July.
Mike, you'll have to be our Spain correspondent.
I'll be your Spain correspondent that month.
I was going to say that sound you hear is thousands and thousands of Brits looking for hotel rooms in Spain at the end of the summer.
June 7th, when they make that announcement, everybody's going to be like refreshing their browser. All right, so we're going to go. Let's talk about more countries over there. Exit Festival to offer coronavirus vaccine to international artists and festival goers. This year's Serbian festival will take place in July. So the Exit Festival has announced that they will offer doses of the coronavirus vaccine to international artists and festival goers who attend their event this summer. The Serbian festival, which will be held in Novi Sad from July 8th through the 11th, is set to go ahead as planned, with the country aiming to fully reopen from June 21 due to Serbia's, quote, successful mass vaccination program and significantly decreased number of new COVID cases. Exit, who are also offering 3,000 free festival tickets to medical workers this year, has partnered with the Serbian Ministry of Health to organize a few thousand coronavirus vaccine doses for international artists and visitors to the festival as a way to aid countries that currently have vaccine shortages. Information about how Exit's vaccine drive for international visitors will work will be announced soon. You can find out more information about how Exit and the Serbian festival sector are planning to. So there's a link to the article in there. And so it's, my question is, be unvaccinated, okay, get the COVID test, come perform, get a shot. Is that what they're looking to do?
That's an interesting one because, I know there's some vaccines that are single shot, but most of them are double shot and kind of 12 weeks in between. That's like a big old run up they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, you can perform. That here's the thing. It's like the shot's not going to make any difference for the time that they are there. And what if you come in on, you fly in on Friday, your set is Saturday, you're a drummer, and you get the shot and you're like, oh, my arm hurts, or you have some of those. The side effects have been relatively minor for the most part, but it's like you feel like you have a cold, or you are kind of a little more lethargic. Fatigued. So would you want to risk getting a shot within 24 hours of your gig? That's like probably maybe even your first gig of the year.
And let's be fair as well. If you've traveled to that destination in order to perform, you have to make it home, even if you're feeling a little under the weather. And flying when you're ill is not advisable ever, but especially not right now. So there are so many things to consider. The reactions and the side effects from the vaccine doses are really varied. And this is going to be something that I'm really interested to see the outcome and more information from and more updates from in the headlines. But I do want to say, before we move on to the next headline, that I think that if the music industry had been made in charge of the vaccination effort, the music industry probably could have had everyone in the world vaccinated by now. We would have been selling merch and T-shirts and beer. We would have had NFTs available. There would have been entertainment. We would have made it. The entertainment industry could have spearheaded the vaccine effort really successfully, I think. But I will be interested to see more updates from this article.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, Eli, because we know how the music industry operates. They'd probably figure out how to weigh, like, oh, we got to license something, and it's like, and then it would be all the tied up in bureaucracy, and and they're not good with technology.
Yeah,
where's Chris Musgrave when you need him to shoot that one right down?
Right. But let's be fair. Where there's a will, there's a way in the music industry. There's somebody out there who would scrap and sell "I got vaccinated" T-shirts.
Exactly. All right, we're going to finish up on the live music updates with an update, and this is from EDM.com. And once again, you can find all these articles in the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. So if you go to musicindustrycity.com, click on the show notes graphic, and you find all the headliners. And, if there's something you want to talk about, you can raise your hand, join us. And also, if you want to see what's going on in the live stream video, you can go over to musicindustrycity.com, and it's right there. So just press play, and you'll be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? So, and once again, I want to say hi to everybody that is already tuning in there. James, how you doing? Oh, Green's from Ohio. And Arasani, hey, yes, they just, somebody wrote, Eli, haha, I got vaccinated in blank shirts and buttons.
Yeah, get vaxxed or whatever. And I just want to say, hey, one of those viewers is my little sister. Hey, sis.
Hey, big shout out there. All right, so let's move on to the final one here, and this is the Ultra Music Festival and downtown Miami residents reach agreement after a bitter feud. The article starts off, after a long and often bitter feud, the organizers of Ultra Music Festival and residents of downtown Miami have reached an agreement to allay tensions related to local disturbances. Ultra and the Downtown Neighborhood Alliance, neighborhood organization representing a dozen residential communities, have announced that the festival will implement a, quote, community standards program that addresses a litany of issues such as construction schedules, park closures, traffic management, and noise impact. A press release shared with EDM.com quotes James Torres, president of the Miami Downtown Neighbors Alliance, who believes the agreement, quote, will allow Ultra and its neighbors to coexist. Miami residents have long bemoaned Ultra, which has been held in the city since 1999 for its booming bass and local infrastructure disruption. Citing noise complaints, Miami officials eventually ousted the event from its Bayfront Park home in 2018, forcing organizers to relocate to Miami's Virginia Key Island. The move led to a festival that Ultra reps deemed, quote, not good enough in a statement, which also announced the news of the company's voluntary termination of its City of Miami license. In 2020, over a dozen residents from the Downtown Neighbors Alliance filed lawsuit against Ultra in Miami-Dade Circuit Court, seeking to block the city's commission's vote to host the fest at Bayfront Park. However, the longstanding feud seems to be resolved. This goes on to say, quote, Ray Martinez, the Ultra spokesperson Ray Martinez, says in a statement, this development finally opens the door to establishing an ongoing working relationship between the parties, which was long overdue. Ultra's leadership was privileged to work closely with the local residents and striking the balance between accommodating local residential lifestyles and hosting large-scale venues and state-of-the-art music productions in Miami's urban core. Martinez also said that the agreement will further showcase Miami and its culture as the dance music capital of the world. The next edition of Ultra is scheduled for March 25th to the 27th, 2022. All right. Lawrence, I know you follow a lot of this. Is there anything that you see, or if there's something you wanted to chime in about? Just throwing you on the spot.
Yeah, I just had one of those moments, like how in movies, the what's on the news, like, is always relevant to the characters or something like that. Because I literally walked in the room and you were talking about Exit Fest, and I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about here? Because I'm actually going to be going to that in about a month or a month and a half or something like that. So yeah, interesting. I was just like. Yeah, I was just interested in what you were saying about the vaccinations and everything. Serbia is one of those countries that has been open pretty much for the entirety of the pandemic for travel from people from the U.S. And there's a direct flight from New York into Belgrade. So it's actually fairly convenient to go there, and I'm fully vaccinated. And on top of that, I had it about a year ago. had the virus. So so yeah, it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. It's the first festival I've been to in a long time, but yeah, should be interesting experience there.
All right. Well, that's great to hear, and great to hear that not great to hear that you got it, but great to hear that you are talking about it. You're here to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I missed the beginning of your thing. They're not going to require everyone entering there to be vaccinated, right? Or are they going to jab everyone at the door, or is it just something that they're offering on site or something?
So
like a jab and jam.
Jab and jam. Here, just before you get on stage, like as they're walking you up the steps there, it's like, all right, go here, go, get on stage.
Go jam. You've had your jab.
Can I get my jab from Dave Grohl?
Oh, girl.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually not for the attendees. It is they're saying it's for the artists. So Exit, I'll read the, I'll just go. So Exit, who are also offering 3,000 free, sorry, that's the wrong paragraph. They're offering 3,000 free tickets to medical workers. But what they're doing is they are offering doses of the coronavirus vaccine to international artists, and festival goers who attend their event this summer. Right. Yeah, so they don't.
Like, how logistically is that going to work? I mean, I suppose I think you guys were talking about this already, but are they literally going to be? Is there going to be a tent there where they're going to jab festival goers?
Yeah, it could be in the parking lot,
or are they going to do it in advance? Or
well, they did say that they will be rolling out the details shortly. So we're going to have to play the wait and see game.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
It's a bizarre one because you have to ask why, and obviously, everybody should be getting the jab, but if they're actually going to do it there, the net effect is going to be a lot later. It's a bizarre one.
I think if I may present a potential reason for this, I deal a lot with because I mentor a lot of younger people. 22, 23, 24-year-olds and some 17 and 18-year-olds. And as they class as adults, as obviously in the UK, we're getting down to 30-year-olds are now getting their jabs. I think festival goers are thinking, just as they were going out during the pandemic and the rest of us were staying in and behaving ourselves, I think that the genesis may be around it being cool to get the jab on site at a festival, and it may be encouraging them to get a vaccine if they were otherwise not bothering. Because for most of us, we have to make a call or go online or plan ahead to get our vaccine with our doctor's surgery or with the local vaccine center or whatever it is. Whereas these kids are like, I don't want to be bothered, going to some doctor's office or whatever. So if they're saying, hey, I'm going to go to this festival anyway, and all my friends are there and it's cool, we're all getting our jabs together, I can totally see photos online of all of us got jabbed, and these are 18 and 19-year-old kids. So I think the idea behind it is, look, if the rock stars are getting it, if we're getting it, it makes it a cool thing to do, as opposed to, something quite medicinal and civic duty related, which is how the rest of us are seeing it.
Right. One of the things that they're trying to say is, like, this is a way to aid countries that currently have vaccine shortages. So that's why it's for the international. I mean, and going along with what Angela said there, like, think if Coachella did this, the most Instagrammed and TikToked festival of all time. I mean, it would be like, everybody, it would just be, and a sponsor. Think of a sponsor sponsored the vaccine tent and then created a hashtag. Yeah. Pfizer sponsored it. And then, they created the hashtag. That would be probably the greatest marketing play ever.
Angela brings up a good point because anecdotally, I think I think there's a lot of Serbians are kind of a bit laissez-faire about getting the jab. So I think this is a way to sort of bring attention to the local Serbian population as well.
Well, Lawrence, you'll have to check in with us live from the festival when you are there. All right. And with that being said, I want to pass this over. Let's check in with Eli.
All right. I just want to remind everybody in the room and on stream that you can add your friends. If you are in the Clubhouse room, you can use the plus sign at the bottom of the room to ping your friends in with Clubhouse's new algorithms. And as we welcome a lot of new Android users to Clubhouse, many people who would be interested in the Music News Power Hour don't see the show in their show listings. So please feel free to use the plus sign, ping your friends into the room, and let them join in the discussion here on the Music News Power Hour. We want to remind you to go ahead and follow your moderators, the speakers at the top of the stage who have the green bean icon. You can also touch the green house at the top of the room to become part of the Music Industry City Club. And if you'd like, you can follow along at home by visiting musicindustrycity.com and touching on the show notes icon, where you can see all of the headlines that we are discussing today, learn more, and follow along during our live broadcast if you like. We are on Clubhouse for Android and iOS, and also streaming across multiple platforms on video. So if you'd like to see what we're doing behind the scenes and not just listen in, you can join us on Twitch, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or by visiting musicindustrycity.com. And with that, I want to throw it over to Angela Randall, our UK correspondent, who has updates for us. Angela, how are you?
Thanks for that, Eli. Yeah, we've got a story here that's more or less an update for something we've been sort of following behind the scenes. There was an article that came out in April that mentioned ticket touts here in the UK may be taking advantage of postponements for live events by scooping up all of the tickets that concert goers were selling off as opposed to getting refunds. So Managing Director of Viagogo, Chris Miller, issued a statement that provides some reassurance. The headline is Viagogo will play a vital role in the live events industry as lockdowns ease. Managing Director Chris Miller responds to claims that ticket resale sites such as his are undermining efforts to ensure events are COVID safe. Despite claims in a recent article published by The Guardian titled Parasitic Ticket Touts Undermining Music Festivals COVID Tracing, dated 25th of April, the ticket resale market and its legitimate and regulated platforms like Viagogo will continue to play a crucial role in the live events industry, particularly as pandemic lockdowns ease. Viagogo is aware that this role comes with responsibilities, and we have a dedicated team in place to ensure all COVID-related safety protocol information is being passed on to ticket buyers. The resale market is an essential component of the live events industry and will play its part of its resurgence. We provide an important route to sold-out events so fans don't have to purchase tickets from unregulated markets. We deliver not just access, but a high level of consumer protection. As a regulated business, we also undergo an annual compliance audit, and we encourage all players in the secondary ticket market to take similar stringent steps. Contrary to criticisms, we take our role in the fight against fraud seriously. We move swiftly to deal with it and are constantly reviewing our practices to stop it altogether. We're calling for more integration and collaboration between event organizers, promoters, and resale platforms, not just to help end fraud, but to improve the ticket buying experience for all fans and support the industry in its post-pandemic recovery. Signed, Chris Miller, Managing Director of Viagogo. It sounds like from reading this that they're just, although we know that secondary ticket sellers are sort of a necessary evil in our business, it's better that we're sort of being reassured by them that they are keeping the tickets that they're using passed on. And as a result, are reassuring that that same information will be passed over if tickets should change hands. We're awaiting sort of similar responses from sites such as Twickets, which is also another app and site used here to pass on tickets from one seller to another in the event that they've changed their mind and decided not to go to a show. But I think it's important that even though Viagogo might not be everybody's friend when it comes to purchasing tickets, because there does tend to be a markup involved, at least they can reassure them that if the tickets are passed over to someone else, that the correct COVID safe information is being passed to keep the live event COVID compliant. And with that, back to you, Peter.
All right, thanks for that, Angela. Yeah, it's isn't it just putting it on the blockchain and making an NFT? Isn't that going to solve all the ticketing problems?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I kid. But hopefully to see this is a step in the right direction. So with that being said, we're going to do a quick update on this one is from Complete Music Update. And this one is Cox Communications files appeal against billion-dollar copyright ruling. We covered this a little while back, and the article starts off, this just in, the quote, the music industry is waging war on the internet, or at least that's what the U.S. internet service provider Cox Communications reckons, and that's how it opens its formal appeal of the 2019 court ruling that said the net firm was liable for its users' copyright infringement, and as such should pay the major labels a neat $1 billion in damages. Cox spent much of the last year trying to get that jury ruling overturned, or at least the damages bill slashed in the courts where the labels originally sued it. However, none of that worked, and now the internet firm is having another go in the Fourth Circuit's appeals court. In a lengthy filing, Cox pretty much runs through the entire history of the music industry's long-running battle to combat online piracy through the lawsuits against file-sharing platforms and individual file sharers, the calls from record labels for ISPs to play a role, the program run with various U.S. internet providers, though not Cox, to send out warning letters to suspected file sharers, BMG's initial lawsuit against Cox Communications, and the subsequent $1 billion judgment in favor of the majors. Along the way, Cox says that the label suing the peer-to-peer file sharing services and individuals who use them was sensible, but notes how, even as the record industry won copyright infringement lawsuits against an assortment of piracy services, beginning with Napster in 2001, quote, other peer-to-peer networks emerged and grew more elusive. Meanwhile, the industry found that targeting ordinary consumers was expensive and unpopular. So 15 years after Napster, it goes on, the music industry launched an aggressive new strategy, attacked the internet itself, suing the internet service providers, the cable and phone companies, like defending Cox Communications, that deliver the internet. Goes on, quote, the record companies launch automated bots to crawl peer-to-peer networks for signs of infringement, explains. Whenever they get hit, they send a notice to the ISP declaring that someone using a specified internet connection could be the subscriber, but also could be a teenager, a house guest, a coffee shop patron, or a hospital patient. Use the ISP wires to infringe. They claim the ISP is just responsible as Napster merely because it provided an internet connection. So it goes on a lot deeper here, and of course, it's because of arguments like that the copyright safe harbor exists, that being the bit of copyright law that says an ISP like Cox can't be held liable for copyright infringement of its users, providing it has a system in place via which copyright owners can get infringing content removed, and a policy to deal with repeat infringers among its customer base. This is a deep issue. I mean, this is something like, whose fault is it? I mean, and it's like placing blame on the person providing the service, or should they have a responsibility to do something? Going back into it is saying they have a responsibility to take down if there is a notification, kind of like YouTube. It's like, hey, if there's a takedown, YouTube's responsibility. But then who is the judge and jury in this? And that's a whole different area. Is, okay, if somebody applies for a takedown, YouTube isn't the judge and jury in a sense. They don't want to get involved in saying, hey, well, we think that this isn't right. It's, well, there's a takedown notice. Here's the takedown. Here you go. You want to appeal it? You have one shot, and you better get it right. And if it's a fake appeal, we're going to shut you down. It's like, it's scary as a content creator to hit that appeal button. So many just take it, to say, all right, I'll delete the video. But, things like this, like, who is responsible? It's like, the Pirate Bay. Well, yeah, they're responsible. Napster, they're responsible. But is, the internet providers responsible as well? And $1 billion is quite a bit, so I understand that. And speaking of DMCA, this one is from Digital Music News, and this is how to avoid DMCA strikes against your Twitch channel, a short guide. And we've been talking about, Twitch for almost a year now has been going through their day of reckoning with DMCA strikes. A lot of uproar, a lot of finger pointing from Twitch. But here's a little bit more deeper into it. And once again, if you want to check out all these articles, go to musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes graphic. So article starts, Twitch has a DMCA strike policy problem because it refuses to license music. You can avoid DMCA strikes by only using Twitch-safe music. Here's how. I also just want to note the following was created in collaboration with Songtrader, part of a broader partnership with Digital Music News. So when Metallica's live performance on BlizzCon was streamed on Twitch and was replaced with some royalty-free MIDI music, it became obvious that Twitch has a music licensing problem. No, it's been that wasn't when we noticed it. It was way before that. Eli, I just want to go back to Eli's. Eli, what do you want to say on that? Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Say what? Say what? I'm so glad this is a new piece of information, Peter. We should definitely be looking at this as brand new information right now. Yes,
Exactly. I
it's
mean,
the first time ever.
Twitch has certainly had a problem. So the Amazon-owned platform refuses to, but you notice how it starts with Metallica. I want to just point out the irony of this. Hold on, I'm sorry, everybody. I want to point out the irony of this. It started when Metallica's music was taken down. It's like, why is everything about Metallica?
Well, I almost feel like it's tongue in cheek to start it off with Metallica because anybody in the know is going to see that and give a little snort.
Right. It's like
wait a minute. Sorry, I dozed off for a second there. Is it 1995? It's not 1995, is it?
No, it isn't, but it sure feels like it. All right. And copyright laws definitely feel like it's 1995. So well, I digress. I'll get back to the article, everybody. When Metallica's live performance was streamed on Twitch and placed royalty-free MIDI music, it became obvious that Twitch has a music licensing problem. The Amazon-owned platform refuses to sign a music licensing agreement with the three big major labels, leaving streamers in challenging position. Music is an important part of setting the mood of a multi-hour stream. Streamers who make a living from the hobby regularly organize 8 to 12-hour streams a day. Keeping the music fresh while staying within the rigid Twitch DMCA policy is near impossible task. It would require each streamer to contact every single label for the artist they want to feature to obtain permission to use those tracks. After the huge DMCA strike that hit Twitch last year, the platform has been modifying how it deals with the issue. DMCA notices appear as Twitch notifications, and Twitch says it's making it easier to delete VOD clips, that's video on demand, clips that are in violation of Twitch's non-existent music license. We just want to keep hammering that one in. So this is how, you can get away, you can be able to clear some play music that won't get you in trouble. The team behind Pretzel, and for anybody that is on Twitch, Pretzel is a name, like especially with like Streamlabs, OBS. They were probably one of the first companies or early adopters to build this system. The system's called Fox, which sorts out music right issues. Labels can add their music to the Pretzel catalog for Twitch streamers to use, and artists get paid directly. All of the music is guaranteed to be DMCA strike safe on Twitch. And Digital Music News spoke with this Pretzel founder CEO Nate Beck about the platform. He shared some major insights, how the Pretzel helps artists get paid and helps streamers avoid DMCA strikes. And this is, it goes into a little bit detail, so you can follow along in the article for that. What they're saying is Pretzel has a free tier and a paid tier that costs $14.99 a month. The free tier has a few limits, like mandatory chat attribution, and some labels are only available on a premium subscription. Building a custom playlist also requires forking over some cash. But Pretzel is focused on making sure that artists are paid out of that subscription fee. 70% of all net membership revenue is paid directly to the artist as royalties. Net membership revenue means after all payment processing fees are removed. Here's the breakdown Pretzel provides. So it's 73 cents for the payment processor. $9.98 goes to the artist, and $4.28 goes to Pretzel. Pretzel works with several indie distributors to keep its streaming music Twitch safe. So it has a list of the distributors, and so it goes into a lot more detail. But Pretzel is something, and also just being a whitelist with your own distributor. So DistroKid has direct deals. So if you're an artist and you're like, hey, I want people to play my music on Twitch without worrying about it, you can go into your distributor. You can check to see if they have that option to just say whitelist it, and that way you can share it. And these are things like Pretzel, Monster Cat. Many of these labels are offering these services, and it's helping them. This is a different type. It's not a new music business. It's an add-on. It's a what can we use as a term? It's a derivative, I guess. It's a spin-off. It's another area that's working. So this isn't going to work for all labels, of course, but it is something that is working for some.
And that rate is exponentially better than it would be if they were paying royalty, like just straight up royalties. So shoot, why not?
Well, it's 30%.
Yeah, 30% is way more than what they would normally get.
What is in the news about Apple's App Store and Epic and all these companies? 30%, 20%. It's like
but it's percentage. It's percentage after but that's the total amount. They're saying 30%, that would be the total amount. But in this case, it would be the percentage that they're saying goes directly to the artist. That's after the fact. That's after because the label is sort of taking their cut up front because of their involvement. Did I hear that?
Yeah, it's they're doing the processing fee and then it breaks out. Yeah, so it's
so it's 30% aside from that, not to be split between. So yeah, it's a better deal anyway.
So, but I'm all for this. I like it. And we're going to continue talking about music and technology here. And this one is from Social Media Today. Instagram tests new audio tab in Explore to improve music discovery. Instagram appears to be testing yet another TikTok-focused addition with a new audio tab appearing for some users in their Explore options, which enables you to search for specific tracks in the app. They have an example there, which you can see, you see there is the new option enables you to search for songs by keyword and provides a listing of registered tracks in Instagram's system. Tapping through on a result will then take you to a separate page for that song clip, which includes option to save or use the audio in your own post, while it also shows you all the Reels clips that has used that same song or sound. This is very similar to the same functionality on TikTok. Search for a song title on TikTok and you'll be able to find similar results on the Sounds tab, while tapping through on a song title within a TikTok clip will take you to a display of all the clips that have used the same audio, which lends itself to an increased interaction and sharing in the app as users look to tap into the latest trending tracks and see how others have created clips around certain music themes. You can do the same within Instagram Reels itself. Tap on the music ticker at the bottom of any Reels clips, and it'll show you the same listings of all the Reels that have used the track as this new audio tab does. So really, it's not anything new functionally, but it does provide another way to maximize music engagement within the app and maybe highlight some of the latest Reels trends to a wider audience. And so, yeah, it goes on in more about, everything here and a little about Facebook. And again, it's like Facebook, it's like stealing another TikTok idea. But, this is what all the social platforms are doing. They're just seeing what works and then implementing into their platform. And hopefully it works there. And continuing, wow, I just realized what time it is. We have 7 minutes left. So let's just do this. We're gonna just jump right into this one. It's the spot. Yeah, we're just going to go right into the Spotify spot here.
It is coming up on the Spotify spot. We have so many headlines, so little time today here on the Music News Power Hour. Don't forget, you can join us from 12 to 1 each weekday Eastern Time on musicindustrycity.com. We also have our show notes where you can click and follow along at home or learn more about the headlines that we've covered today. musicindustrycity.com. Before we go over to our Spotify spot where we look at music and streaming technology, let's take a look at your weather. Recent rainstorms have prompted some people to spontaneously burst into song, as many of our viewers have reported hearing singing in the rain. Over to you, Peter.
Welcome back, Eli, with the weather report.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I was having weather report withdrawals this week.
What I can say is Angela did blow us away with some of her updates while in your absence.
I see what you did there. Blow us away.
I can't wait to go back and listen now. I want to hear this. Angela, I want to be inspired by you.
Right on. And with that being said, we are going into the Spotify spot. This one is from Billboard.com. This is inside Spotify's new Fresh Finds program for indie artist development. The Fresh Finds playlist hub. I really don't want to say Fresh Finds 5 times fast. I hope they don't say this a lot. I'll rather say car thing. Spotify's car thing is a lot easier to say. But we're going to say the Fresh Finds playlist hub, centered on discovery and promotion of independent artists, is now offering even more hands-on assistance while also expanding to 13 new regions. 5 years ago, Spotify launched its Fresh Finds playlist hub for early discovery across genres. The uniting force, all featured acts are independent. The flagship playlist alone, one of 10 under the hub, has since featured 25,000 artists, many of whom went on to become established names, and a lot more there. So they announced that The next evolution of Fresh Finds, a development program for independent artists. The program is centered on 3 pillars, including education and access to resources, creative collaboration, and marketing support. Jeff Stempick, Spotify's artist and label partnerships head of Indies, says Fresh Finds is an incredibly strong, explicit vehicle for independent artists. It's the entry point for the entire Spotify ecosystem. And once you get on other Spotify playlists, there's all kinds of subsequent things that can open up doors for an artist's career. It's that ripple effect. According to the DSP, after an artist disappears on the Fresh Finds, their average monthly listens increased by 108% in the 28 following placement compared to the 28 days before. And for artists whose first Spotify editorial playlist is Fresh Finds, over 44% are later added to another editorial playlist, leading to increased exposure over time. For its inauguration, Spotify selected 4 artists aimed to represent the gender, racial, and genre diversity. They go on here and talks about some of these artists and deeper. They also have, in terms of education, each artist will participate in personalized masterclass and receive credits to use on Spotify for artist resources like Marquee and the Canvas Designer category, on Sound Better, among other tools. So the Spotify Songwriter and Publishing notable team has paired each artist with a producer, and while this will work with longtime collaborators, for more to help each artist release an original song under the Spotify Singles banner, which will be promoted using new skills they learned in the program, from on and off platform campaigns to Spotify clips, as well as participating in a social media documentary series. And Spotify also said will launch 13 new regional Fresh Finds playlists in countries including Brazil, Malaysia, Italy, South Korea, Turkey, in an effort to help emerging artists develop a global fan base. So it goes on even more. And if you want to check out all these articles that we covered in today's news, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes graphics. And thank you. Just want to thank everybody that's tuned in and chatted with us in our video feed, and to Eli and Angela and everybody else on stage. Eli, I'm out of breath.
There were so many headlines that we covered today, and we've had some great commentary on the articles. I want to remind everybody that if you want to join in the discussion, you can always chime in the chat. If you are watching us on stream on video, you can also raise your hand in the Clubhouse room, but be sure to ping your friends into the Clubhouse room with the plus sign to bring in new users on Clubhouse who might be interested in the updates that we have here every day on the Music News Power Hour. It's all the news that's fit to listen to and discuss relating to the music industry, and is provided by the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. Make sure that you follow your moderators. Those are the speakers at the top of the room who have the green bean icon. You can also touch the green house at the top of the room to join the Music Industry City Club, and make sure that you visit musicindustrycity.com, where you can look at all of our show notes, and you can also register for free and sign up for updates through musicindustrycity.com. Yeah, excellent. Angela, any final thoughts for us today? Because I know that you have so much experience with a lot of the subjects that we covered today. Any final thoughts as we wrap today's broadcast?
I've been really skeptical of artist development, whether it's with major labels and all this buying and selling of catalogs and sort of shifting the focus from new to old. And it's quite nice to actually hear somebody like Spotify, who's often on the receiving end of criticism lately, doing something that sounds on the surface like it could be helpful in that regard. So I will be doing a deep dive into this whole Fresh Finds thing, if only just to get Peter to say Fresh Finds again. And see if I can find more information about it, because it does sound like it's on the right track, but who knows.
Fresh finds. There, I did it. What do I win? And on that note, I want to say that my name is Eli Wendow, and on behalf of our UK correspondent, Angela Randall, we want to thank you so much for being part of our discussion and our broadcast here on today's Music News Power Hour by Music Industry City. And thank you so much for being part of our stream. If you're joining us on stream, I know I have several family members joining us on stream. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, James. Hi, Ma, I'm on TV. My mother is actually watching us today. I can't believe this. So thank you so much for joining us today for our discussion and our broadcast. Join us each weekday from 12 to 1 Eastern for all the news that's fit to listen to and discuss relating to the music industry. This is Music News Power Hour. And let's go back over to our host, Peter Schwing.
All right. Thank you. And welcome back, Eli. We definitely missed you for the last few days. Hope you had a good, relaxing getaway. And we are back in the Power Hour. And again, everybody join us tomorrow. We really want to start making, we want the music week in review on Fridays just to be a giant party. Like let's, we got to think about this a little bit. I was just saying, hey, we cover the news. There's so much to talk about. I know everybody has an opinion, and maybe we just kind of open up for a free-for-all, like a caged battle royale or something that, hey, just come into the week in review. We're going to say, here are the topics, or you can bring some topic to the table of like, hey, I thought about that a little bit more, and I want to talk about it. And, let's make it like a caged battle royale. We can have like a total confab.
You're saying cage battle royale, but in my head, I was thinking like donut hole exchange. Like everybody bring a dozen donut holes, and then you get to try all the different kinds of donut holes around the water cooler and talk shop. But cage match is good too. I like that. That's the Friday Weekend Review on the Music News Power Hour. We would love to have you join us 12 to 1 Eastern for that. Cage match or otherwise.
Yeah, right.
How about a donut hole cage match?
We just throw donut holes at each
now
other.
You're talking.
All right.
Hashtag.
And again, in our Good Day Music Room, which is 11 a.m., which we do every Monday through Friday. It's the hour before this. In our Good Day Music World, we are doing the artist shout-outs tomorrow. So it's music discovery, and you can see those playlists and everything at musicindustrycity.com and click on those show notes. Again, we keep on saying that, but if you also go and register, you'll also get the email that tells you about everything that else is going on. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate you and saying hi to everybody over on the live stream. And Angela and Eli, thanks, and have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. I hope you guys all have a great day. It's so good to be back.
Cheerio.